Let's dive into how the USA went from a bunch of scattered colonies to a global superpower.
Yeah, people call it the modern Roman Empire, and when you look at its influence, you get why.
So, to really get it, you've got to go back, way back to the very beginning.
Okay, picture this. It's the 15th century and European powers are in a mad dash for North America. Spain, England, the Dutch, France. Everybody wanted a piece, carving up the continent for themselves.
But the first English colonies were totally different. One was all about money, the other about faith. Fast forward a bit. Decades of war left Great Britain broke. Guess who they expected to pay up?
A whole series of British actions, from new taxes to land grabs, pushed the colonies right to the edge.
So on July 4th, 1776, they did it. They declared independence, founded on this wild idea of liberty. Their new government had checks and balances. The goal? Make sure no one part got too powerful. But this new nation was born with a huge contradiction, one that would almost destroy it. And that contradiction was slavery. It wasn't just there, it was woven into the economy. Then came this idea of manifest destiny, that the U.S. was meant to expand west. This forced a huge question. With every new territory, the same fight came up. Would it be a free state or a slave state? For decades, they just patched it over with fragile compromises, basically kicking the can down the road. But you can only do that for so long. Eventually, the compromises just weren't enough. And then Abraham Lincoln got elected. For the South, his anti-slavery stance was the last straw. Southern states started leaving the Union, and that led directly to war, a conflict to decide everything. The cost was just staggering. Roughly 600,000 lives lost. It's still America's deadliest war. In the end, the Union held together, and the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. The country was changed forever. The fighting on the battlefield was over. But the fight for the nation's soul, that was just starting. This new era was called Reconstruction. It aimed to rebuild the South and bring millions of freed people into society. But those efforts were abandoned, and that promise of equality was left unfulfilled for a very long time. It all comes back to those founding ideals, which have been a source of both inspiration and deep conflict. So the nation was remade by fire, but the struggle to define what America truly stands for, well, that continues.